Today, the English countryside brings to mind thoughts of peace and tranquility. Flowers grow in the hedgerows, and children play in the fields. But it was not always like this. In the dim and distant past, in the days of yore, before Andy Orchard was going out with Claire Brind, terror stalked the land. But who were these fabulous raiders? Where did they come from? Were they motivated merely by greed and a taste for violence? Or should we perhaps see them more in terms of colonizers who, through commerce and exploration, made a distinctly positive contribution to Western civilization? The more traditional view of rape and pillage, murder, terror and sudden death has been replaced. Historians would now argue that the Vikings arrived on our shores more often than not as peaceful traders who offered the Anglo-Saxons a variety of goods for sale, and then killed them. Before moving on to a detailed look at Viking activity in Britain, it is perhaps useful to make a brief survey of Viking activity in other lands. The Vikings in Francia. The Frankish army had swept down from the North German plains, overrunning all opposition to conquer the Roman provinces of Gaul. It was an entirely offensive force, and consequently quite incapable of defeating the Vikings. The Norsemen ravaged the land, leaving scenes of devastation unparalleled till modern times. After 60 years, Charles the Bald had a bright idea. He invented the castle. 6 years later, he actually built one, and they all lived happily ever after. The Vikings in Ireland. The Irish attempted to confuse the Vikings by fighting each other. This policy met with only limited success. The Vikings in Wales. In Wales, the threat was even greater. None other than M. Ragnar Lothbrok. He harried the land, chased the women, and untuned people's harps. The commercial purpose of these raids should not be forgotten. Trade was ever in the forefront of the Viking mind, and excavations in Scandinavia have greatly increased our understanding of the commerce of the period. At Hedeby, archaeologists have found hundreds of pieces of wood. These are all about 2 foot long and extremely interesting. Next week, murder, mayhem and more.